my channel. If you are new here, my name is Daisy. I am a 23-year-old entrepreneur and the owner of Daisy Vegas. Daisy Vegas is a brand created for female entrepreneurs. And I am also a social media manager. So on my channel, I bring you guys along my entrepreneurship journey in hopes that I can inspire you, motivate you, maybe even teach you some things, or, you know, just help you on your entrepreneurship journey. It's definitely not an easy journey, and there are many ups and downs and a lot of struggles, a lot of lessons to be learned, and yeah, but it's still fun. And I know that we're all gonna get to where we want to be. We're gonna all create our own version of success. So if that's you, girl, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and let's go ahead and get started into today's video. So in today's video, you guys go get your cup of coffee because we're gonna be talking about branding and how to successfully brand your business, whether that's e-commerce or small business. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Okay, so to begin with, we're gonna kind of talk about what branding is. When you think about branding, it's a pretty broad word because there's so many forms of branding and so many things that go into a brand. So the way that I like to think about it is that there's 4 pillars to building a brand. So that's your audience, your design, your content, and your brand identity. So we'll kind of break down a little bit of this, but I will be teaching you guys in depth these 4 different pillars in my new course, Branding Like a Badass, that comes out April 1st. If you do not follow me on Instagram, you can go ahead and follow me at Daisy Vegas Co. I also share my personal Instagram on there, but you can get updates on there as well. But yeah, so we'll kind of dig into a little bit of what branding is. So obviously I just explained to you guys the branding pillars that I like to kind of base my branding by. So with branding, you're kind of instilling a feeling or an emotion in your customers, as well as everything that they can physically see with their eyes, right? So obviously branding includes all of your logo, your color schemes that you like to use, your fonts, but as well as the message that you are sending to your customers. And as much as people like to kind of downgrade your logo and your color schemes and everything, I am a firm believer that that also creates a feeling in your customers. So I don't think that we should neglect colors and fonts and all that in our branding, because that is definitely still very important, as well as the message that you are trying to portray to your customers. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys an example. So I don't know if you guys have followed that brand, Quay or Key, but they are a sunglass brand, right? They're a brand for sunglasses. Let me drink a cup of coffee, hold on. I like to use them as an example because even though their glasses are so simple, when you purchase from them, you kind of get a sense of belonging. And by that I mean, like, because you guys know it was like a trend to have your Quay or Key sunglasses, especially when they launched their collection with like Desi Perkins and stuff. You just felt like a bad, you know, wearing those sunglasses because they're like, oh, Desi wore them, whatever. So they're instilling that emotion of feeling like a sense of belonging. So there's so many types of feelings you guys that you guys can instill in your customers, okay? I'll give you guys a few examples, like the one I just mentioned, which you feel like you belong, or the feeling of like saving the environment. That's another good one. I remember actually I just recently graduated from college with a degree in marketing. I know a lot of people also like to downgrade the idea of going to college, but a little side note, we're gonna get a little sidetracked. I do not regret my decision to go to college. I had so many great mentors, you guys, that I was able to kind of pick their brain while in school, because the school that I went through Purdue University Global, and it was all online. For those that don't know, I am a military spouse, so it was just more beneficial for me to do everything on my own. But what I really enjoyed about it is that the class was a little bit more like part-time, as for me as well as for the professors. So a lot of them, this was not their full-time job. This was kind of like something that they do for fun. They do enjoy teaching. So a lot of these people were like CEOs of companies, and you know, like they were this was definitely like a side thing for them, just another form of income. And a lot of them, like I had actually a professor that she owned a PR agency, which I thought was so cool. I loved talking to her. But anyways, don't let people downgrade you for going to college, okay? Because if you enjoyed it, just like I did, I learned so much from them. Sometimes I get a little salty. People are like, you do not need a degree to, you know, like get into like these types of businesses and stuff, but I just don't regret mine. Anyways, so what I was talking about, I actually had a project for school where I had to kind of look for companies that instill emotion in you. And one of the main ones that I found was, oh my God, Tom's, that's the shoe, right? Yeah, Tom's. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those shoes that are called Tom's. They sell them at like Journeys and stuff. And for a while they were pretty popular. Like a lot of people like to wear them. But one emotion that they always instilled in you is that like, it was like a feel-good emotion, because every time you purchased a shoe, they would send a shoe to someone in need. And also a lot of the money that they were raising from selling their shoes was going towards helping the environment. So when you are making a purchase, you're kind of making a purchase with a good feeling, if that makes sense. And that is why like branding is so important, because if you are making your customers feel good or feel like their purchase is for a reason, or their purchase has meaning, they're going to continue to purchase from you. And that's why it's so important to kind of decide like what kind of feeling your business is going to make your customer feel. So for example, with my brand, Daisy Vegas, I started off as a social media manager, and I still am a social media manager, but now I am shifting more to becoming an inspiration and motivation to female entrepreneurs, and specific like more young entrepreneurs like me, because you don't really see them often. And my purpose with my brand is instilling that sense of inspiration that you can do it, which I believe in that message so much that I feel like it does portray through my content, through the way that I speak, through who I am. And that's also very important. Like you have to really believe in your product in order to be able to send a message. So if say like you are in the beauty industry and you have a small business or e-commerce business with cosmetics, you want to make sure that you are passionate about your product and the message that you are sending, because if not, I feel like that does seep through your content if you are not passionate about what you are doing. So that has a huge role, you guys. Building a brand is definitely not something light, and it does take time, because you do have to build a relationship with your customer. And that is all including in building a brand. You are creating not only an emotion, but a relationship with your customer. That is what is going to create customer retention. And obviously, because you want your customers to keep coming back, right? So now let's get into a little bit about how branding is going to pretty much help your business. I know we just talked a little bit about that, but I also want to get into brand recognition and brand awareness. When it comes to, like I said earlier, that we should not forget about colors and fonts and your logo, because that is how your brand is going to be distinguishable from another brand, right? Especially from what we can see. We already talked about the feeling part, so now we're going to talk about more of like the visionary and what we can see through your brand. When you are picking out color schemes, you're still going to be instilling an emotion with that colors. For example, like yellow instills a very happy emotion in people, as opposed to like blue, where it's more of like a sadness, you know? So you want to make sure that you are very careful with the color schemes and that it goes with the message that you are trying to send to your customers. The more consistent that you are with these colors, with these fonts, and with your branding and your logo, the more people are going to be able to recognize your brand and who you are, and again, be able to distinguish it from another brand. So another thing with branding is creating brand awareness. A lot of people like to do this with influencers now. So influencers is a pretty big form of marketing now, whether that's big influencers or micro influencers. It's all a part of creating brand awareness. A common mistake that I see people, in particular small businesses / e-commerce businesses, do is that they are too focused on making sales right away, as opposed to focusing on their branding and their marketing. Branding is a part of marketing, but your marketing and branding strategy, you guys, is what is going to equal those sales. So if you go into your business right away just thinking you're going to be making all of these sales, like, it's not going to happen that way, unless obviously you have a video go viral or something like that. Most of the time it does not happen that way. You have to invest into your branding and your marketing before you even think about all these sales that you're gonna make. So do not underestimate the power of branding and creating that brand awareness. You want people to be aware of your brand. Alright guys, so now we're gonna get into your unique selling proposition. It's also known as your USP. So this is super important again. So this is what is going to distinguish you from your competitors. So I'm going to give you guys like the actual definition from when you Google unique selling proposition. A unique selling proposition, more commonly referred to as USP, is the one thing that makes your business better than the competition. Your USP plays to your strengths and should be based on what makes your brand or product uniquely valuable to your customers. Obviously that falls into your branding, you guys, because your branding is what is gonna make you different from your competitors. You just have to figure out how you're gonna make your customer feel different when they purchase from you than when they purchase from your competitors. So if you think about like purchasing a like Gucci wallet as opposed to a wallet you get at Ross, which you could probably find Gucci at Ross, but you're just gonna feel more like a bad bitch, okay, carrying around that Gucci wallet than you are carrying around a little, what do you call it, Calvin Klein wallet, whatever, you know? Okay, so another example of like your USP is, again, obviously what is going to make you different from your competitors. So are you going to have lower prices than your competitors? Are you going to have higher quality than your competitors? All right, guys, so I hope I gave you guys some good information that you can kind of base off your branding with. Again, I am going to be going more into detail in my course that comes out April 1st. But I highly suggest that you guys sit down, brainstorm, strategize. I promise you this is what's going to be the foundation of your sales making. A lot of people underestimate the power of branding, but it's so important, you guys. It's literally what's going to distinguish you from someone else. Let me know your guys' thoughts or anything you'd like to add on or anything else you'd like for me to clarify down in the comments. And thank you guys so much for watching another video with me. I hope you guys got some pretty useful information here. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram. And if you have not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe, girl. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish my coffee, you guys. And I'll see you guys on my next video.